Good afternoon. Australian cricket has a new Test captain, with Pat Cummins officially named as the team's new leader. In an historic moment for the fast bowler from Penrith, he intends to manage the workload by leaning on Vice-Captain Steve Smith. Sam Jordan has more.
Ever since he made his debut at the age of 18, Pat Cummins has always been regarded as the prodigy of Australian cricket. Today, he was elevated to the highest role in the game, named captain of the Test side, the first fast bowler to hold the title in more than 60 years.
I'll be leaning on everyone. I'm a big one for empowering individuals to really own their role and take control of that. So you won't see me telling someone how to bat or someone how to bowl. They're playing for Australia for a reason.
Cummins always appeared certain to assume the role after Tim Payne stood down a week ago, but Steve Smith's return to leadership was less clear-cut. He stood down as skipper in the wake of Sandpapergate in 2018 and now returns having learned some valuable lessons.
There'll be some negativity from some people around it. I understand that and I get that. But for me, I know that I've grown a great deal over the last 3 or 4 years. I'm a more rounded individual, and in turn, I think it's turned me into a better leader.
The captaincy announcement came just hours after Tim Payne revealed he's taking an indefinite break from cricket. The decision effectively means he won't feature in the Ashes, and there's now serious doubts that we'll see him again in the Test arena.
We really feel for Tim and his family. He's just a really loved, well-respected leader for our team. He's been incredible for me, especially since being vice-captain.
So, after 7 days of turmoil, Australian cricket's leadership questions have finally been answered, and just in time as well. The first Ashes Test at the Gabba is now just 12 days away.
Accused double murderer Greg Lynn has now been moved to Melbourne after facing a regional court charged with the killings of Russell Hill and Carol Clay. Reid Butler was in court.
Well, he has been here at Sale Police Station since Monday evening, but this afternoon, alleged double murderer Greg Lynn finally left. The Jetstar pilot was taken away in a prison van. He's bound for the Melbourne Remand Centre. The 55-year-old was calm and holding his hands as he appeared earlier today at Sale Magistrates Court via video link. There was no application for bail and he'll be remanded in custody until May next year. This follows dramatic developments in the missing campers case. Greg Lynn charged over the murders of Russell Hill and Carol Clay late yesterday after days of questioning.
We are hopeful that this arrest brings us a step closer to providing the answers the families have been desperately seeking and richly deserve.
Ordinary guy, living in a quiet neighbourhood, lovely guy, always say hi, hello.
We've also learned the Missing Persons Squad is zeroing in on a new search zone in Victoria's Alpine region. They only identified the spot, which isn't being made public, yesterday, and are hopeful they will find the remains of the missing campers.
Police are hopeful that we will be able to locate the deceased and provide closure, ultimate closure, to the families.
Poor weather in the region today, though, means it's likely serious searches won't begin until next week.
Forensic specialists will commence searching at that location over the coming days.
Police have also made it clear they're not looking for anyone else in relation to this investigation, but they are looking for this blue trailer that they say Lynn was towing around the time of the camper's disappearance.
We believe the trailer was sold on Gumtree.
It's certainly been a case that's gripped not just Victoria but the whole country, and the investigation is still very much active.
Residents in Sydney's northwest are being told to prepare to leave their homes, with the Warragamba Dam expected to spill tonight. The release of water means downstream impacts. There are fears the Hawkesbury-Nepean River system could burst its banks near Windsor and Richmond. Anyone who lives nearby low-lying areas is being urged to listen to updates from the Bureau of Meteorology. All across the state, though, the effects of this massive weather system are being felt, with one of the hardest hit areas, including Scone in the Upper Hunter. Jane Goldsmith is there.
It's the worst flooding in 30 years, according to locals here in Scone. Homes here in Aberdeen Street inundated after torrential rain overnight and this morning. Ernie True and his wife Sandra devastated. They've lost treasured possessions which belonged to her late mother, stored in the garage. It's now underwater.
This morning when I woke up, it was only up to the back fence line. We thought, oh, well, it's all right. And then all of a sudden I walked to the front to have a cup of coffee, and I seen the water rushing around the front of the house, and I thought, oh. So that's when we noticed it was rising. But it come up that fast that it just caught us. This is the worst we've ever seen it. But we're going to stick here as long as we can. Nothing we can do.
Creeks have swollen and merged, causing major flooding in the town. A flood marker showing the depth at 2 metres. 65 millimetres of rain has fallen overnight and into the morning at Scone on an already saturated ground, causing the flooding. An hour southwest of Tamworth, a man rescued from the roof of his vehicle in the nick of time after driving into floodwaters at Coruna, winched to safety on the other side. Weewar, west of Narrabri, now an island. Major flooding cutting the town off. River levels rising up to 7 metres, expected to hang around for a week. Farmers herding cattle to higher ground. Here in Scone, all residents can do is watch, wait and hope the rain will finally stop.
Well, dozens of Australian troops and federal police officers are this afternoon on their way to the Solomon Islands to try and bring riots under control in the capital. Let's go to our political reporter Fiona Whelan in Canberra. Fee, good afternoon. What's in store for them when they arrive?
Well, Davina, they'll be facing an extremely volatile situation. So we've been seeing images coming out of Honiara this afternoon which show a fire burning near the Prime Minister's house. We know in recent days anti-government protesters have been setting buildings alight. We've spoken with a local reporter who was on the scene a short time ago.
There's also a big fire happening there that's just beyond the Prime Minister's residence. This is his residence here, with the PRT officers. So that's what the feeling is like for us here. A little bit uncertain, unsure.
More than 100 Australian soldiers and police will head to the Pacific nation. 2 flights have left Australia in the past few hours, one from Townsville carrying soldiers, another from Canberra with AFP officers on board. The role of the Australians will be to help local police try to bring the riots under control. We know the protesters are angry over a number of issues, but one in particular is their government's decision to switch allegiances from Taiwan to China. So they've been calling for their Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare to resign. He contacted the Australian government asking for help.
Hopefully in the weeks that are ahead, then the situation can return to some calm and the issues that are related to this internally can be resolved internally in accordance with their constitution.
It's certainly a dangerous situation on the ground, and we've seen the rioting that's taken place, the arson and the general disorder that's there at the moment as well.
Now, Scott Morrison says the deployment is only expected to last for a matter of weeks. Davina?
OK, Fiona, thank you. It's been confirmed 52 workers and rescuers have been killed in a fire around 250 metres underground at a Siberian coal mine in one of Russia's worst mining disasters since the Soviet era. 239 of almost 300 miners were safely led to the surface before rescue efforts were halted because of fears of an explosion. Dozens of people are in hospital with smoke poisoning. The Prime Minister says the presence of a Chinese spy ship for weeks in international waters of Australia reflects a serious situation in the Indo-Pacific. The vessel arrived off the coast of Darwin in August and travelled as far south as Sydney.
They have every right to be where they are. We knew they were there, and they are able to be there under international maritime law. But don't think for a second that we weren't keeping their eye on them as they were seeking to keep an eye on us.
Mr Morrison has pointed out while China is allowed to be in the waters near us, Australia also has every right to be in the South China Sea.